Okay, and welcome to the 11th session of our Rose of Westhaven game, when at last we left our heroes. William and Odran had decided to enter the abode of their friend Marku in Porthcroll. Granted, he wasn't there and the doors were locked, but you know, for mighty heroes in Lamentations of the Flame Princess, that's a small obstacle. So they decided to enter the building via non-orthodox means and stash the loot in there that they had taken from the Harper family catacombs below the Church of Peaceful Repose. Whilst this was going on, Sasha had encountered a sorrowful Poppy, the wife of the innkeeper from the Siren's Whisper Tavern, who had apparently been thrown out by her husband, the ever-gruff Brock, because he suspected her of cheating on him with the very same Marku the elf. Trying to calm this down, Sasha inadvertently persuaded Brock that it wasn't his wife's fault and that he jumped to conclusions that she'd been bewitched by the elf. So as we finished last session, the gruff Brock, a tall, muscular man, used to heaving heavy barrels of ale and subduing rowdy villagers in his tavern, had hefted a large wooden cudgel and had stormed down the street towards Marku's abode, planning on dragging the elf out by his pointed ears and giving him a damn good seeing to for daring to bewitch his loving wife. And that is where we'll be picking up this session. But before we do, I'm going to ask each of our players to introduce themselves and say a bit about their characters. So first we will start with Odran Molwag.
Right, so my name is Johannes and I'm playing the aforementioned Odran Molag. He's a pagan and a worshipper of Dagon, the Lord of Waters. And he's sort of from the last uncivilized place in this setting, and he's as such is basically a barbarian, but he is being steadily pimped out by Sasha with fancy earrings and nice blouses and stuff. So he's getting the whole Fabio look on.
Okay, splendid. Next we move on to Sasha of Riverhead.
My name is Dennis and I play Sasha of Riverhead, who is a red-headed girl in her late teens, desperately trying to mask the fact that she is a student of the occult and can cast a few spells now and then. And you made it sound like she didn't mean to push Brock on the elf. She might have done just that.
Well, I wouldn't like to put words into your mouth, but anyway, that's a discussion for another time. We now move on to our final character for this session, which is William of Riverhead.
Hello, I'm also Johannes, and I'm playing William of Riverhead, a young boy who looks pretty ordinary, and he's tells he is the brother of Sasha, even though he doesn't really look like her. And he acts as the scout of the group and seems to have quite a bit of secrets himself.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So, as we begin this session, Sasha, you have just seen Brock hefting his huge cudgel, and he's stormed down the road to Marku's house, saying that he's going to drag the elf out by his pointy ears and give him what for daring to bewitch his loving and faithful wife. His quarrel with Poppy seems entirely forgotten as he storms down the street. You can tell by the way he's walking and this look of fury etched on his normally gruff but placid face that he obviously means business. And you can also tell that by the way he's swinging this wooden cudgel, testing the weight of it as he storms down the street. He's got quite a long stride, he's moving fairly quickly. As you see him sort of heading off with purpose, and obviously knowing your fellows, William and Odran, are sort of out to the back of Marku's house. Obviously you're stood there with Poppy still sort of sobbing but trying to dry her eyes, and Barden, who's trying to comfort her. What do you do, Sasha?
Well, she did call out call out stop to the big guy.
He doesn't seem to have a mind to listen. He's just focused on like getting to Marcus and getting him a thrashing.
For a moment, she's tempted of just letting him rampage through the elf's abode, but then she remembered that her friends are there. So she looks to Poppy, gives her a half smile. Well, you better play nice when he comes home, and she runs off after him.
Okay, Sasha, as you're about to start running off after Brock, you hear a rustling coming from nearby, from about here. And as you're sort of looking in that direction, you see what appears to be a man climbing out of what appears a large sort of section of shrubbery next to the Church of Peaceful Repose. He appears to have been hiding in the bushes there.
Oh, okay. She stops, tells her head towards it. Does it look like an elf?
It doesn't look like an elf. It looks like... Well, it's difficult to tell, to be honest. It's a guy who's obviously trying to cover up his appearance. He's wearing a brown leather travelling cloak, has a hood pulled over his face. You can really only see the sort of bottom of his chin. But you see he appears to have been sort of observing the church, and he now climbs out of the bushes and he starts to make his way round the other side of the town hall on the road heading north, running parallel to the one that Brock's just headed on.
How tall is he?
He's about 5'2".
Okay, she calls out Bill.
You notice the man doesn't give any response, but he actually starts to hurry. He actually starts to jog, and he's heading up this road to the north that's running parallel to the one that Marco's house is on.
Okay, she draws a pistol, fires up in the air. The next one will hit.
Okay, let me make a morale check for him. Obviously, you don't have to make a roll because you're just firing up in the air.
I guess I could roll to see if he misfires.
Okay, you notice he does flinch a bit as there's this loud... However, he just like redoubles his efforts since he's heading away from you anyway. He just carries on. He breaks into an actual all-out run.
So he curses and runs after him.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. So move your normal movement, or you can move double it if you're running.
Yep. Hang on, just need the map to load.
Don't forget, each of the hexes is 30 feet on this map.
Okay.
So just to be clear, can we hear this gunshot?
Oh yeah, you guys, just as you're about to, you've basically broken in as we established last time. You started loading your loot from the mule wagon into Marco's house. You do hear this gunshot. However, you're just as you're sort of like wondering what's possibly gone on there. You just hear this. That any sort of further sound is drowned out by the sound of someone hammering on the door of Marco's house, and you hear an extremely furious voice, which you'll probably recognise as Brock from the Siren's Whisper. You've been in there enough. You hear this as he's banging on the door. You hear this voice: "Come out of there, you pointy-head bastard!"
I'm looking up to Audrin. Angry
Don't
guys
make me come in there!
Angry guys are your speciality?
What do we want to do? What,
I'm not
what do you
sure.
think
That's why I'm
what do you
asking
think the shot is? What do you think that's about?
I don't know. So should I take a look?
I guess it doesn't have anything to do with the guy banging on the door.
Probably not. We should take care of him first, maybe.
Right.
Should I kill him?
What?
Should I kill him?
No. I'll see what his deal is, and I move to check on our angry friend.
Okay, move yourself 1 hex adjacent to where Brock is.
I would just keep take an eye on these two, and I have my bow in the ready just in case.
Okay, so as you move around the front of the building, Audran, you can see the furious Brock is holding this large wooden cudgel that looks like it might have once been part of like the sort of gear mechanism from a cart, you know, the bit that goes onto the wheel, and this long sort of like hooked piece of wood with like a huge sort of bald end on the end of it of like polished wood, and he's just hammering on the door with it gripped in one of his meaty hands, and he's like, "Don't make me come in there, you elf! I'll teach you to bewitch my damn wife."
What's this now, good man?
He turns around and looks at you. You see him sort of like raise up his cudgel a bit. Then, seeing that it's not the elf, he sort of lowers it a bit and he says, "Oh, I'm just here after what's owed me. The damn elf who lived here has bewitched my wife. I always knew he wasn't right. I said it ever since he came to Porthcrawl."
Ain't no elf here.
"What are you on about? This is where he lives. I damn well know it. It's just down the road from me."
Yeah, I know, but I was looking for him, same as you. He's not here.
So you'd have no objection to me coming inside and looking around then?
Well, are you going to look under the bed or what?
Well, I wouldn't put it past him, cowardly so-and-sos, to be hiding out in his house. Send someone else out to do his dirty work.
Well, do please accompany me inside so that we can settle this.
Okay, now whilst that's going on, William, you're sort of still around the back of Marco's house when you see Barden sort of sprinting towards you from the direction of the tavern. You can see he's running flat out, and as he reaches you, he sort of like stops and puts his hands on his knees. He's like, he's obviously been running flat out to get you, and he's like,
Take a breath. Tell me what you want to say.
"William, it's Miss Sasha.
Where?
She saw someone climbing out of the church, out of the
Where?
The road facing this one."
Okay, I'm running as fast as I can in this direction.
He tries to follow after you, but he's obviously like knackered himself out running too much already, so he doesn't really stand a chance of keeping up. So if you want to move yourself towards where Sasha is, William.
Sure. Somewhere there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
I'm on my way still, I assume.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm on my way still? Or
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So as you're running across, you can see on the road opposite you, you can see a man wearing a brown travelling cloak with a hood pulled low over his face. He's sprinting down the street, occasionally throwing a glance back over his shoulder. As you follow his gaze, you can see Sasha running down the road after him, her pistol, still with a bit of smoke coming out of it, held in her other hand as she's running after him.
Is there such thing as a called shot? Could I try to hit this guy in the knee or something?
Mechanically, no, there's no such thing as a called shot, but I have no problems with you saying you want to try and hit the guy in the knee. That's fine.
I try.
Okay, no problems. Are you? What's the range on your weapon?
1 second. My crossbow has a short range of 50 feet and a middle range of 150 feet.
Okay, yeah, so he's 90 feet away, so you're at sort of like medium range.
That's -2, I think.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to make your crossbow shot roll.
So -2. -2 +2 because it's a armor class reduction of the crossbow. No.
Okay, you fire a shot at the fleeing figure, but unfortunately it doesn't manage to hit him. Okay, so Sasha, you're running after this hooded figure. You can see William has sort of like started running to try and intercept him and has snapped off a shot with his crossbow, but because William's been running, he's not been able to take the sort of time to aim that he normally would have done, and his shot clatters into the ground sort of like a couple of feet behind this guy. What are you doing, Sasha?
Don't shoot him! We need him alive. As he continues to run after him.
Okay, I would try to run next to Sasha then.
And then she does a complete double turn like a good politician would, and she calls out to the cloaked figure, "Stop, I'll shoot you."
Okay, at this point, I think we're going to go into initiative, because it's becoming more important when people are going. So I'm going to ask each of you to please roll me a d6. So we've got William on 2. Sasha on 1. Odran on 5. And I will roll for the NPCs. I will on 6. Sort that. There we go. Okay, so NPC on 6. He's going to move to there. You shout, just before we go into initiative order, you shout out, Sasha, "Stop or I'll shoot." That doesn't seem to encourage him to stop. If anything, he just like starts running faster.
Mm-hmm.
You can see he seems to be trying to skirt the sort of coastal road and continue heading north. Okay, we then go on to Odran. Odran, you're sort of escorting Brock inside. He's having a bit of a look around. He seems to be sort of like reasonably reassured that the elf isn't there, because obviously whilst all them shooting and running has been going on, you've spent a few minutes sort of showing him around. He's looked under a few beds, sort of potential hidey holes. He seems to reassure himself that Marku isn't actually there. And you can see he's still absolutely furious, but he's just like dumbfounded, because he was sort of relying on being able to take his anger out on Marku. Now he's just like...
Just stewing.
Yeah, he's just absolutely furious, but like obviously he can't just like start trashing stuff in the village or he'll be in trouble.
Yeah. So I go, hey. Whatever this is, my friend, nothing in life is worth this.
He pulls himself together and he says, "Listen, friend, I know you have no real involvement in this other than knowing the elf. But to me, the vows between a man and a woman when they make a commitment in the eyes of God are a sacred thing, and people meddle with them at their peril. As this elf with his vile witchcraft has meddled in it, bewitching my lovely Poppy."
Now, I know
you're definitely
more.
like calming him down a bit, but he's still absolutely, he's like steaming.
Yeah, but that's my action. I'm for now. I'm just going like, hey, you don't like this is not cool. This is not good for you.
Okay, no problem. So we move on to William.
I'm looking to Sasha while I try to switch my crossbow with my regular bow and just run after this guy. By the way, who is this guy? And I'm not doing nothing else because switching my weapon while running is pretty much,
Okay.
I think all I can do.
I think it might be Bill, she says while she also runs.
Oh,
Now, William, as you're running, you're like, well, if that's a copy of me, it's like a fairly poor copy of me, because he's like a little bit taller than me.
yeah. Not much, but a bit. But who knows? Maybe he has high shoes or whatever.
Quite possibly. Okay, Sasha.
She will run. Just need to find her. So I'll end up here by running. I don't know if that means I'm close to him or...
Yep, since you're in the same hexagon, that means you're effectively close enough to engage in melee or try and like tackle them if you wish.
So I will try to tackle him.
Okay,
Just a
not a problem.
strength
So
roll?
no, effectively that's a grappling roll. So we both make an attack roll. Whoever, if you get the highest, you've grappled them.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I was almost feeling sorry for invoking the tackle rules. So I'll just roll with my sword because it has the same stats.
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
Okay, let me make his attack roll. Okay, luckily for you, since this person's focused so much on running away rather than actually trying to sort of fend you off, you are able to grapple this person. So would you like you can like bring them down, immobilize them momentarily. They'll, basically on his next turn he'll have to try this again to like struggle out if he wants to break free.
If you can tackle him and sit on his back or something like that.
Yeah, no problem. Just narrate how it goes down. You've succeeded.
Okay, she runs up to him and uses the pistol to swing at his legs. And by dodging that, he trips, and she jumps over him and just go and climbs on top of him and trying to use her weight to keep him down, but it's not easy. So
Okay.
she's waiting for her kid brother to come.
Okay, no problem. You clatter your pistol butt into the back of this guy's knees and you hear him cry out as his legs go from under him. Then you dig your elbow into his back and like throw all of your weight onto his back. He's struggling to get up, but that will give you ample time to get to them, William. So I'm going to remove the turn order for now.
Yep.
Since we're effectively not in turns.
Once I'm with Sasha, I just will do sibling tag team. So we just try to grab them both down, and then I will pull out my rope and try to restrain him.
Yeah, not a problem. I will put a little webbed icon in the corner of his token to show that he is now fully tied up and restrained. As he's sort of like thrashing about as you restrain him, his hood falls back and you can see a guy with sort of like shoulder length brown hair, little bit of stubble, human. He doesn't look particularly familiar to you.
Sassy looks a little disappointed when she sees that. You could just have said,
not Bill?
I'm not Bill. Then we would have left you alone. Stupid. And she takes the pistol and the barrel of the pistol and pokes into his ribs.
Okay, you poke into his ribs and he goes, well, I don't know what you want, did I? Some crazy kid shouting at me and waving a pistol.
Well, usually when people are waving pistols, you should stand still. You know how difficult it is to hit a moving target? But she pokes him in the rib again.
He sort of goes, and then he said, well, yeah, why do you think I was moving?
So why were you running away?
Well, I was just heading back home, wasn't I? Running a bit late.
Just to be clear, the normal procedure for Sasha is when she doesn't want to speak with him anymore, William will take care of the negotiation. Just saying.
Okay. He's like, yeah, I was just running a bit late. I was just trying to get home in time.
Well, it looks suspicious with the cloak and the skullduggery and sneaking and...
He's like, what? I was just sleeping it off. I'd had a few too many. I was sleeping it off in the bush outside the church. Of course I've got a cloak and it's always pissing it down round here. I'm not going out without a travelling cloak. I'm not mental.
Does he smell like alcohol?
Yeah, she leans in and smells them.
He does not smell like alcohol at all.
And you must take it nice because you don't smell like booze. So I'll tell you what, she sits up and puts her knees down on his shoulder blades, on his back. I'll just sit here and I'll reload my pistol, and when it's loaded, either you have given me a good explanation or a bad explanation, and you can guess which part leads to the pistol.
Okay, as you load your pistol in sort of quite an exaggerated fashion to make a point, he sort of throws away his hands and he's like, whoa. All right, there's no need for that. I'll tell you. Look, Lord Harper paid me to hide out near the church and to keep an eye on it. He said he wanted to know if I saw anyone coming out, like carrying anything with them.
Oh.
And he's
So
like,
what are you going to tell him?
He's like, well, I was going to tell him, I saw you like coming out and loading stuff into a cart, and that's why I was heading. I thought you'd gone. That's why I was heading back to make my report. And then, well, this young lady turned up with Poppy, sobbing and spotting me trying to make my escape. When I had the pistol shot, I just ran for it, didn't I? I'm not a soldier.
What did you see? You see nothing. Am I clear?
Oh, all right. There's no need to get serious. Like you say, I didn't see anything.
Do I believe him?
It's up to you.
I'm looking to Sasha. Do we believe him? I would say it's a risk. I don't like risks.
But what's he gonna do? I mean, it's not like... I mean, we had permission and everything, so...
The thing is, Lord Harper could ask us a bit few questions of what we got from down there.
Yes, he looks at Will, giving him a kind of look that tells him that he was not supposed to know that.
He already saw us loading stuff.
Yeah, that cat's well and truly out of the bag.
Okay. Well, I guess we could do this two ways. One, you can earn some silver. Two, we could say goodbye to you here and now and cast your soul into the void.
He says, well, the silver sounds preferable to me. What were you thinking?
Well, how much did Harbour pay you?
He said, well, he paid me 20 silver, didn't he?
Okay, I'll give you 40 silver then.
Wait. You give you 10 silver and 30 silver when we are sure this operation went down clearly and nobody talked about us.
All right, yeah. So 10 now, 30 later. Yeah. Where do I have to come to pick up my 30?
Come to the siren.
All right. Well, I've got to go back and make my report to Lord Harper. He'll know that there's something amiss if I don't report in. But yeah, so I'll go and tell him I didn't see nothing, and then how about the next night I'll head down to the Siren's Whisper and you can give me the rest of the 30. How's that sound?
Okay. Sounds good.
I would prefer if we pay the 30 when we are done, but okay.
Yeah, it's cool. She shifts a little and reaches over to her money pouch and gets out 10 silver and gives it to him. Okay,
he takes the 10 silver and then he says, "Yeah, if you need if you have any pleasure doing business with you, if you need to find out anything else in Port Crawley," he says, "Well, I'm and obviously if you've got a bit of coin, I'm your man. I pretty much know everything that goes on in this town." Wolsey Halley.
Wolsey Halley. Okay,
and
well,
he
you know
holds out a hand towards you.
Yeah, see, reach it in. That's good. We're always interested in information and willing to pay for it.
Do we have some kind of document where we can put in his name or something? Do we have something like for notes or something?
You could put it in the quest log under IC information.
Yeah.
Then if you want, after the game, I can set you up one specifically for like putting notes about NPCs in.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Okay,
How-
remind me at the end of the game and I'll set that up for you.
How is he written? Spelled
Okay,
out?
his first name is WULSI. In fact, do you know what? I'm just going to post it on the Roll20.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool.
You
Thanks.
should be able to copy and paste that and make it a bit easier. Sorry, unfortunately, I can't access the sort of chat on Skype. Otherwise, it will send the where I've positioned you guys' his cameras all funny on the.
Yeah,
I did write him in the quest log.
Okay, she gets off him.
I will retrieve my robe.
Holster the pistol.
Okay.
Well, nice doing business with you. We'll see.
Yeah, and you. And he heads off in the direction of, you presume, the house of Lord Harper. You sort of see him disappear down this road, and he makes his way off, eventually disappearing from view behind some buildings.
I sneak behind him without saying anything.
Oh, right, no problems.
I just want to make sure we invested to go silver right.
When she sees him disappear, she just stands there rolling her eyes and walks over towards the elf.
Okay, William, if you follow him, you indeed follow him to sort of like here, to the bottom of the hill, which is where the Harper residence is. And here you see him walking up the hill, and he heads into the Harper residence.
Yeah, I would try to sneak in again.
Okay, make your sneaking roll.
I'm doing the normal 2d6 because last time the 6s are a bit weird in this spot. Yo, no problem.
Okay, you sneak in past the guards. As you're heading in, you can actually see Captain McCormack, the captain you met previously, appears to be on his way out. As he's heading out, he passes by Wolsey Halley, nods at him and carries on walking, sort of heading southwards on the road.
Okay. Yeah, I ignore him. I follow Wolsey.
Okay, you follow Wolsey in. He enters the sort of audience chamber where you previously met Lord Drago Harper and closes the door behind him. You can hear sort of muffled voices from inside.
Can I try to eavesdrop on the conversation to get if he really did not say anything?
Okay, I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. You just put your ear up against the door. That's fine. You can hear Lord Harper saying, "So, Halley, tell me what you saw by the tomb of my forefathers. Did those people I gave permission to go in, did they take anything from the sacred tomb of my forefathers, or were they honourable in their dealings?" And you hear Wolsey say, "Well, I don't know about honourable, your lordship, but, well, I didn't see him take anything, and I was sat in the bushes just outside all night. Never saw him take anything. They went in, they were in there for a bit, they came out, they went on their merry way. I think they're heading towards the Siren's Whisper, probably going for a nightcap or something, but they weren't like lugging anything with them as far as I could see." At which point Lord Drago says, very good, Mr. Halley." And you hear a chink as like a pouch of money being thrown on a table. "There is the 20 silver shillings for your payment, as we discussed."
I make my way. I go back again. That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, not a problem. As you're making your way back, you just sort of hear him say, "Oh, well, thank you very much, your lordship," and like, taking his money. But then you head off. Okay. So,
could actually be a good investment in the future.
You never know. Stranger things have happened.
I will sneak back to the Marcus' house.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. Okay, so whilst that is going on, you've about managed to persuade Brock Odrin that Marku isn't actually there, and you're sort of leading him out of the building. As you're doing this, you see what appears to be a dwarf approaching him, and he says, "Oh, Brock, I've got those new horseshoes sorted out that you wanted doing." At which point Brock's like, "Oh, not now. I'll sort you out your payment in the morning. I've got other things to worry about." The dwarf just sort of shrugs his shoulders and he says, "All right then, I'll come round and see you at the tavern tomorrow morning." And he walks off, and you're like, "Fucking humans." and he stomps off in this sort of direction.
Right. So I put my hand on Brock's shoulder and I'm like, Brock, how about you go see about those horseshoes?
Brock's like, yeah, well, I mean, I suppose I could go and see about them. I mean, mind you, it's nothing that wouldn't wait until the morning, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, but you shouldn't. You should have something to do.
Oh, well, maybe you're right. Smith will be moaning if I don't go and pick him up, and the last thing I need is Drummond banging on my door all bloody morning, complaining that I've not gone and got his horse. Yeah, I tell you what, I'll go and see him. At least he's only over the road from the church anyway. It's practically on the way back.
Yeah. Why don't you go do that, Brock?
Okay, you see Brock walking down the road. He turns left at the end and goes to a small building opposite the church. By this time, Poppy has gone back into the inn. Okay, by the time this is finished, William, you've about got back to where Sasha is, if that's where you're heading.
Yep.
So feel free to move yourself back.
Sure.
She went to the Marco's house.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I wanted to go there too. I just nodded here. Good investment.
So is he here? She looks at Ogren. The elf.
No.
Where is he?
I don't know if you should start being worried about him.
I mean, I can live without him.
Well, he's where he needs to be, I guess. But we are here now, so. And there's I point at the loot that's been stashed.
So, apparently we were spotted coming out of the church. See,
Okay, who?
by
It's not a
someone-
problem anymore.
Yeah. So basically, we paid him off.
And he holds his part of the bargain I checked.
Oh,
Okay.
Bill. I don't know. I'm kind of a little offended that Harper didn't trust us.
I mean, he would be stupid if he did.
What?
Why should he?
Because we are trustworthy.
You don't get to be the leader if you trust everyone.
Maybe
At least you don't stay it until you get old.
Then he just inherited. Anyways, let's go in and see what we got, and we might as well spend the night here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is now we can relay information to Harper as many as we want, how we want. You just have to pay this guy.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to interrupt slightly, and I'm going to ask which of the three of you was affected by the fungus spores in the catacombs from the rats.
William was.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Okay, so it's Sasha and William. So I'm going to ask, can both of you please make me a save versus, I think it's a save versus disease. It may be poison. Let me just check.
There's poison, paralyzed, brass, weapon, magic device.
It's poison.
Yeah. Okay. Any bonus?
Nope.
Both fail.
Okay, as the evening has been going on, at first you might put it down to the exertions of chasing after this guy, but the two of you will start feeling a little bit sickly, a little bit sort of weaker, and until further notice you will both be at -1 to all of your rolls.
Okay.
So as the evening goes on, you start feeling a little bit feverish, a little bit hot, a little bit clammy, maybe sweating a little bit. You certainly don't feel well at all. You feel like you're in the early stages of a flu or a cold.
I just give myself a poison symbol or something, just to remind myself.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. In fact, I'll put one on Sasha as well. There we go. Okay, back over to you guys.
How severe is it? Just cough a bit more, or
Yeah,
do we throw up, or what is it?
No, you just feel a little bit hot and a little bit sort of clammy and sweaty. You feel a little bit shaky. Say you're coughing a little bit, but it feels fairly mild at the moment.
I think I caught something.
Me too. Maybe you should drink some more alcohol or something. I still don't know how this body works.
Sounds like a good idea. I will go get some. I head over to Brock to get some.
Okay, so move yourself down the road to where the Siren's Whisper is. As you're heading down the road, you can actually see further down the road in a small building that's sandwiched between the windmill and the Siren's Whisper. You can see Brock stood outside of this small building. It looks to be like a smith's. You can see he's talking with a gruff dwarf with a long beard who sort of stood there holding a pipe in one hand and a couple of horseshoes in the other hand, and they're basically haggling over the price of these horseshoes.
I yell over, Brock.
What?
Brock, I'm gonna grab a couple of bottles of the hard stuff. I leave the coin on the table.
Yeah, just stick it behind the bar. And then he turns back to the dwarf and you hear him go, look, I'm not paying that for 2 sets of horseshoes. That's daylight robbery, Drummond. Drummond's like, well, look, I've got to make a living, no. And they carry on some bantering like that. Yeah, you head into the tavern, that's not a problem. Poppy will let you in. She seems quite subdued. Obviously, the events of the evening haven't done anything for her mood. You say, I'm just coming to get some of the hard stuff. Her Brock's approach, she just sort of like waves her hand and she sort of concentrates on her tiding. She's doing, obviously trying to keep her mind off what's going on.
Yeah, I go and get the bottles and leave some coin on the table. And let me just bring up my thing. So I don't remember how much it costs, but I'm going to leave him, let's say, 6 shillings.
Well, let me just have a look. I've got the equipment thing right. Yeah.
Bottle of wine liquor, pure, rural, 5 copper.
No,
if you got decent is 1 silver.
No, rural's 2 copper for a bottle of wine. It's 5 copper in the city.
Oh, yeah, I switched it up. So when we get something pure, it's 2 copper. Not sure. Otherwise, it's 1 silver.
I'm gonna leave him 4 shillings because I think I'm still feeling a little bit generous due to certain events in the past.
I understand.
So I just estimated 4 sounds good, and I leave them on the counter and start making my way out. But I stop by Poppy.
Okay, not a problem. You mark down on your character sheet that you've effectively got 3 bottles of spirits rather than wine. Just because you're like, oh, well, if I'm paying this amount of money, you best believe I'm having some like spirits rather than just some like wine.
Yep.
Okay, so, you said you were going to talk to Poppy.
Yeah, I'm going to stop by Poppy and I stand there for a couple of seconds saying nothing, and look, I know your man's out there in a huff, and you have a thing going on with the woodland man.
She says, "Well, you could hardly blame me, can you? I mean, look at all these ugly scrots around here in this village, and then you've got someone like him comes swanning in one day, gives you a bit of a smile, talks to you nicely. Not like my husband, barely says like 2 words unless he's talking about booze or deliveries, or like most of the people around here who just want to keep talking about fish all the time and going out to sea.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this like beautiful man who swans in. He's talking to you about distant places and about his homeland. He's got this melodic voice, and she, as she's thinking about like how beautiful Marco looks, she lets out a little sigh.
Oh, I know. I believe. Yep. And well, it's not really any of my business, but I just thought to say that.
She says, "Look,
If you
now, I know he didn't really bewitch me, but hopefully once my husband's calmed down, I'll be able to talk him round, and I'm sure no harm will come of it. Once he's blown off a bit of steam, it's always the same. He'll have a few drinks. He'll have a bit of a hangover in the morning. He'll have forgotten about it all come tomorrow evening."
Right. Well, if he hasn't, then well, I'm staying over at the elf's house. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want help settling all this, you can come by and ask me.
She lays a hand gently on your thickly muscled arm and then says, "Oh, thank you. That's ever so kind of you."
Yeah. Okay, you have a good day now.
She smiles at you, gives your arm a gentle squeeze, and then goes back to her cleaning.
Yeah. And I'm heading back to my patients.
Okay.
Sasha has taken the elf's bed and got William to take off her boots, and she's laying in there. Do you think it's the curse?
What curse?
The curse that Ogren talked about, raiding tombs and all that.
Maybe.
I mean,
You are.
you're not sick, right? I mean, demons can't get sick, right?
This body can, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not used to this stuff.
Not sure it was a good choice with the stable boy.
Tell me about it. We will fix this. Just a matter of time.
Well, if it's a illness, I mean, it has been raining for days and days, and we did sleep outside in that nasty forest with that gloombugger friend of yours. Maybe he infected us. But
If you are this worried, we could go to Zachary and ask him. Not Zachary, sorry, I'm mixing up. Salazar.
Well, maybe we could have him come to a house call. I mean, after all, we did all that. I mean, set him up at the harbor resident.
For all I care, he could serve us until we get out of here. So.
Yeah, good idea. So if you could go get him and make him bring something to remedy this, and also
I just want to drink first.
Can you get a drink when he comes back? I'm really not feeling well here. And see.
Fine, yeah, I'm going.
Also, if you could get some soup.
I'm going to find this guy first. Ask Odrin for soup. Walk out. Looking for Salazar.
Okay, where do you plan to look for him?
I'm not exactly sure where he currently could be. I think we suggested for him to go to the manor or to the lighthouse.
I believe you suggested that he go to the lighthouse.
The lighthouse is quite a bit off, right?
Yep, you took him like a sort of day's travel.
Sasha wanted him to go to the manor.
I believe both were suggested to him at various points. Obviously, you don't know which of those.
I will take one of our horses and ride to the manor first and ask one of the guards if Salazar the sage is here.
Okay, you ride to the manor, and one of the guards says, "Oh, the old sage. My Lord Harper's agreed to provide him with lodgings in the manor house in return for certain services, obviously."
Could you ask him to come out? Tell him his friends want to speak with him.
Yeah, of course I can, young master. What name shall I give him?
William of Riverhead.
William of Riverhead. All right, no problems. I'll go and see if he's awake. With him being an old fella and whatever, and with it getting on a bit, I don't know whether he'll have gone to sleep yet. But I'll go and see what I can do, young master. You wait here.
Thank you.
He heads on, leaving you with like the other guard who was on duty with him. A few minutes later, he comes back. You see, he's got Salazar with him. He's sort of like rubbing his eyes a little bit and yawning as though he'd like just been woken up. He sees you and he says, young William, what can I do for you?
We could need one of your medicines. We are not sure. How much do you know about medicine?
Well, I am a sage. I know a great deal about herbs and herbal tonics and such like.
We were just looking around under the church in old tombs, and suddenly we both got a high temperature and stuff, and me and my sister. Could you just take a look at us and maybe see what you can do?
All right. Well, yes, of course. I mean, with all you've done for me, I don't see that'll be a problem. Where are you currently staying?
We are at the Siren's Whisper.
Oh well, by all means, let us go then.
Okay.
Okay. So whilst you two are heading back, where is Odran and Sasha at the moment?
I went back. So, is Sasha still at the Marcus house?
Yeah, she's in bed. We checking her around.
Yeah. So what's going on is I think Marco probably has like cutlery and stuff. So
I thought we started out at Siren's Whisper, then I would say to Marcus house, of course. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I'm there making like a herbal mix in a mortar and mixing in the liquor that I just bought.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop you there on your way back to Marco's house. As you're heading back there, you see Captain McCormack, the captain of Lord Drago Harper's guards, on his own, not with the normal guard patrol, but wearing his guard uniform, his tin helmet, etc., his pistol at his hip, his sword. He's walking down the street. He sees you, he holds a handle, and he starts sort of like walking quickly towards you. Not like running or drawing a weapon or anything, just like holds a hand up and starts walking across to you.
Yep. I sort of wave at him, and then I wait with the booze on my lap, basically.
Okay, no problems. He walks over to you and he says, good. I was hoping to catch one of you or one of your people. I hear you've been poking around in the Harper's family tomb.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound like a very strange question, but I don't suppose when you were down there you found a large two-handed blade. Well, let's just say quite unusual. You'd know if you'd found it.
You must mistake me for a swordsman. I am most definitely not one. I am, and I hold up one of the bottles. I go. I am a herbalist.
He laughs and sort of like throws his hands up and says, "Look, I'm not trying to cast any aspersions. I'm simply interested. There's not an awful lot to do whilst guarding the manor. We don't get much trouble around here, so I'm something of what you might call an amateur history enthusiast, and I've been given the portrait gallery up at the Manor House, I've been looking into the Harper family history in the local area, and there's this splendid sword mentioned a number of times. But whenever I've asked my Lord Harper about it, he's always quickly changed the subject. So I was trying to track it down. Well, the nearest I could see is that all of his ancestors had held it as a badge of office, if you will, until about 300 years ago or so, and then all record of it in the family history scrolls just vanishes entirely. The last reference I can find is to one of Lord Drago Harper's ancestors, Willigert the Brave, carrying it. But then all mention of it disappears from the historical record that I've been able to find. I was simply wondering whether it might have been interred with Sir Willigert in the tombs underneath the church, but it's so rare that anyone gets a chance to, or permission to go in there. Certainly not a lowly soldier of my standing. I've not had the opportunity to go and have a look myself. Since you're one of the few people to have been down there, I just wondered whether you might have glimpsed this blade.
Tell you what, Captain, to be quite honest, I was mostly focused on the small rats.
Yes,
down there.
Rats. We do have trouble with rats. In this town, they live mostly off the scraps the fishermen leave behind. Damnedest thing says, when I was a young man, no more than about 10, I would have been. I swear I saw one the size of a dog skulking around the wharfs. One of our duties as guards patrolling Porthcrawl is to keep an eye on these sort of things and make sure they don't spill out too much into the streets. But it's ever so difficult to track down the blighters. They just retreat to their nests if you put them to fire or the sword or anything like that.
Yeah, there were some big ones down there, and to be honest, the tomb wasn't really in the best of shapes. But tell you what, you come with me. I'll go in. My friends are kind of sick; they caught a cold or something. But I'll go in. I'll ask them if they remember anything about this sword that you were interested in.
Yes, of course. By all means.
Right, and then I would lead him to Marco's house and stand him outside, go in with my booze, and talk to Shasha.
Yep, no problems. He follows you and waits patiently outside.
Yeah, so I put down my loot and basically kneel down to one knee on the side of the bed, and I lean in close to Sasha and I go, "Okay, the Harper captain is outside asking about a big sword from the tomb. Do you remember anything like that?"
Sasha.
Yeah. I think you're muted. Or
hello?
Okay, yeah, no.
Sorry, I forgot. There was a great axe, right? Something like that.
A flail and
that weird club thing.
Yeah, but he was asking about the sword. Willigert the Brave, I guess, was the one who was supposed to have it. I don't remember a sword.
Well, we did find his tomb.
You did find the tomb of Willigert the Brave, but to remind you, that was the one that had the large flail buried in it that was in sort of slightly dodgy condition.
Didn't Audrin take this flail?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
did, but
it's
there
in
was
the-
no sign of a sword, though.
But I mean, we did find one of the coffins that had been dragged away by the rat creatures. So I suppose they could have taken a sword as well. I was hoping we could offer to clean out the the underground for these rat rats.
Go back, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, but to clean to
Mhm.
clear out the rats.
Okay. So he's outside, the captain is. So I'm gonna tell him that we're interested in going back there for additional compensation to find the sword and to get rid of the rest of the rats.
Yeah. Well, once
Okay.
we recover.
Yeah. Yeah, once we've had a bite to eat and rested up. Yep. Right. So I step back outside.
Okay, you see the captain is still waiting there patiently.
Yep. I go. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we saw a sword as such. There was an axe of some kind, but no sword. And like I said, the tomb isn't really in a good condition. So, there was a wall that was broken, and I think some of the actual burial caskets that people use here, they weren't in where they should be. So it might have become lost somewhere down there, and we would like to volunteer because this is obviously very important to the Lord.
Oh,
We would volunteer to go in search of this sword and get rid of these rats down there that are gnawing on his ancestors' bones.
He nods and says, well, I'll certainly take your request, Milo. Excuse me. Sorry, the damp, and he takes out like a handkerchief from his greave and dabs it at his mouth. And he says, yes, sorry about that. I'll certainly take your request to my Lord Harper. I'm sure he'll be interested in having you clear out whatever vermin are down there. After all, it'll save us having to save the time of guardsmen sending them down there to do the same. One thing you do notice is as he sort of absent-mindedly tucks his handkerchief back into his bracer on his arm, as he does so, you briefly sort of see the inside of his handkerchief, and you can see there's what appears to be a bright green liquid sort of staining the inside of his hanky, like a splatter of it, and then he tucks it in his bracer.
Does he seem ill otherwise?
No, he seems fine.
Well, we'll be staying here, resting, eating. So you just send word down on what the Lord says.
Yes, we'll do.
Okay.
Well, good evening to you, sir.
You as well, Captain.
And he turns and sort of starts heading back to the Harper household. As he's doing that, he passes both Salazar and William, who are sort of just arriving in the area. Obviously, you feel free to sort of pitch into what's going on now, William, because you're about there with Salazar.
Sure. I would just guide Salazar in and point him towards Sasha, and will sit right next to her so he can take a look at us.
Okay, he takes a look at the two of you. He does all the normal sort of apothecary stuff, gets you to stick out your tongues, gets you to cough while he's got his hand placed on your side so he can feel how your breathing's working, and then he says, well, it seems as though you've contracted some sort of infection. I'm not really sure of the precise nature of it. I need a little bit of more time to determine that. But I can clearly see that whatever you've been infected by, it's having a terrible effect on your system, and it's only just getting started. If you don't receive treatment, unless your body can naturally fight it off with its own strength, these symptoms are only going to get worse.
What do you?
Okay, we need a herbal remedy then.
Well, yes, of course, but I can't administer a herbal remedy without knowing the precise nature of what it is I'm treating. I could do more harm than good.
Meanwhile, I'm in the back mixing my own own herbal remedy.
Indeed.
How long ago could we be infected with these things?
Well, the infection seems fairly recent. I would say in the last couple of evenings. But from the look at it, bear in mind this is only a preliminary examination. It seems to be spreading quite rapidly. Best case scenario, assuming your body isn't able to fight it off itself, I'd say you've. Let's see. Based on your heights and your weights, I'd say if it continues at this rate, you maybe have 5 or 6 weeks at the most.
That's not acceptable.
But are you saying we're gonna die from that?
Well, yes, if it's not treated and it continues apace, like any infection, it can be deadly.
So
what can we do about it? I mean, we have to do something about it.
I will start telling him exactly what I did the last in backwards order. I will tell him where I did go into the tomb, what I did there, what I touched, what I breathed, what I drank, what I ate, the whole procedure.
Okay, so as you're listing out what's happened, Odrin, you've mixed your own sort of medicine by now. Are you bringing any of it in for the others, or?
Yeah, I of course I haven't bought any like actual herbs that we have rules for, because that guy, the guy selling them is Salazar in this town. So I've basically like picked my own herbs, which I'm not exactly like an expert on them, but I have some stuff there, and I mix it in with the spirits, and I have these like small cups that I'm now that I have them mixed, I bring in and I hand them out.
Okay, make me a bushcraft roll.
Here's for a 1, I guess.
Boom.
Oh yeah.
Like a bouse.
Okay, so Odrin brings in the. Do you say? Are you bringing them in like cups or?
Yeah, like small cups of like mulled wine style.
Yeah, so he brings in like this sort of mulled spirit, effectively. It basically smells like he's taken some vodka, heated it up, and then it's got like bits of herbs and stuff floating around in it. And he hands them all over to you. You notice Salazar sort of like takes a sniff of one of them and he just goes, And do you guys drink this fairly vile smelling mixture, to be honest?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's like someone's taken a bottle of vodka and then they've like stuffed a load of nettles in it and like left it for about 2 months. That's how it smells.
And this was help?
I close my nose and drink it in one go.
Okay. It tastes absolutely vile. It's very alcoholic with just like a faint hint of like mowed grass on the sort of palate. However, after you've drunk it, surprisingly, you actually start feeling a little bit better, which is quite unexpected.
What do you do that you don't throw up? Please, fast.
I put my own mug down and I go to William and I put my hand over his mouth and I close his nose as well. Like you just hold it in.
Okay, what about Sasha? Are you drinking it or?
Well, she has seen him heal with the Dacon's grace, so yeah, she's drinking it.
Okay, you drink it. Again, tastes absolutely vile, and you struggle to keep it down. But you do find yourself feeling a little better. Both of you will now no longer be receiving the -1 penalties, although it has not entirely cured you of the sickness. It's basically just sort of like perked you up a bit and sort of delayed it for a bit.
Yeah, removed the symptoms.
Yeah.
She lays down and just focuses on not throwing up.
Indeed. As you're focusing on not throwing up, Salazar sort of like potters over to you, Odrin, and he looks at you and he says, that's whilst that won't cure them, that's not a bad attempt. Have you ever considered a career as an apothecary?
Yes, it was actually my original interest. I was trying to learn it from my own mother, and well, all that sort of went by the wayside once I started hearing the voice of Dagon.
Oh, of course. But if you ever want to pursue work in that line again, please get in touch with myself. Since obviously young Barden has decided to pursue other careers, my daughter Darnie is not interested in following in my line of work. I find myself sadly lacking in an apprentice.
Well, that's. I flash him a big smile. That sounds really good.
Well, no, yeah. you already. I pride myself in having an eye for someone who has natural talent in this area. And although your tincture was crude, it did have a spark of inventiveness in it. And given the obvious lack of any real restorative herbs that are native to this area, I'm quite impressed with the fact you managed to achieve even the small effect you have with it.
Well, thank you. And I raised the cup that I have for myself in toast to him.
He smiles and nods.
I'll tell you what. While we are taking rest from our labors here in town, I will make it a priority to come to you and learn about the herbs and the mushrooms. Mushrooms are of particular interest to me.
Excellent. I shall look forward to that. But if I am to do any real good with your friends, I will need to take some samples of their blood. I'd also and he sort of leans in a bit closer and lowers his voice so really you can hear him, Audrey. It would also help a lot if I had a sample of the original infecting material. It sounds to me from what young Master William has told me that it seems that these strange fungal spores from these rats that you faced in the tomb are responsible. It would speed my attempt to make a curative greatly if I had an untouched sample of it to match against the samples of blood I can take from the two of them. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'm simply going to be blundering around in the dark, and as I say, I don't want to do more harm than good in this matter.
We got plenty of dead rats.
Indeed, if you have them here.
Not here in the tomb, but we could bring some out for you if you want. No problem.
As long as the actual fungus is alive, that will be absolutely fine. And I should since fungus lives on dead flesh, rotten wood, etc., I would expect the fungus to survive for a good few days after the death of the host. So, as long as you're fairly quick about it, I believe you should be able to get a sample of the fungus from the body of the dead rats.
Sure.
If you agree to stay a bit when we get into the tomb again tomorrow, we can first thing we bring you some of the fungus.
Well, yes, of course. Obviously I don't wish to venture into the tombs myself, but I'm quite willing to wait near the entrance for you all.
Good.
Well, didn't we see one of the rats eat another rat?
Yeah.
So they probably are already been eaten.
But I think I saw there was some of this growth on the floor as well and on the walls.
Oh, right. Well,
on the tombs.
Well, William could just go down and get some, I guess.
And if there is a rat there, which smash it over the head and bring it out.
I would prefer if we do this together, just in case. I don't want to be swamped by rats.
No.
Well, whatever you're planning on doing, says Salazar, I would advise that you all at least get a night's rest first. You'll need all your strength, both to help you fight off the infection and also to undertake this task, it seems to me.
That's
Fine.
true. Tasha
Yep.
pulls up the cover. Looks
Yeah.
around.
I would take my bedroll and sleep on the floor somewhere.
Did you get my soup?
I sleep. I fall into sleep.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, William, do you get my soup? Okay, so you all have a night's rest. You all regain a princely 1 hit point.
On that note, does anyone require the blessing of Dagon before we lay our heads to sleep?
Yeah, you've certainly got time to do that.
Yeah. So,
Um,
is anyone hurting real bad?
I mean, not
I-
hit points wise.
I have 1 hit point less, but I healed it anyway, so...
Yeah, so no. Yeah. And just if we had like cuts going on and stuff, then I would be doing my bit, but okay.
We used up our biscuit or whatever this was.
Oh, the
Pie.
rhubarb pie. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Mm.
pie.
Yeah, the mighty rhubarb pie. Yep. Okay, so we rest, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yep.
but as Elena, so how do you get your... Is it spells you're doing, Dagon? Audrun? From Dagon? Or prayers? I mean, do you know the magic or does it come to you?
It's hard to say. I hear the voice of Dagon, and I am inspired and filled with his strength. And I know a couple of the old songs and rhymes to appease Dagon, and that usually this helps me when I'm calling upon him for aid.
Oh,
Are you
So-
interested in becoming a follower of the Lord of Waters? Do you have a bit of time?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
See, Leicester is kind of a little pissed that she was forced to study magic and clean all the lab equipment and sweep the floor for years and years and years, and all she got was a bag of deck spells and a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess-
you've got Audrun there going, oh, it just comes to me. Dagon
Yeah.
just speaks to me. And you're like, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah. Some people.
Some people get all their luck.
Yeah. Silver spoon. Okay, so if Sasha is interested, Audrun will tell some stories about Dagon and the good old ones, and probably some of the myths of the Olden Vale. While he downs his medicine in one go, and it goes, and then he gets a bottle of the spirits and like takes sips as he regales you with his tales from his homeland.
Okay, splendid. And we fade the scene out there as you're sort of gradually going to sleep, and Audrun is waxing lyrical about the glories of Dagon, Lord of the Waters. And we move on to the next morning. Audrun, can you please roll me a d20? Okay, that's fine. You wake up the next morning in Marco's house. Salazar is still there. You're all still there. But William, you're still sleeping on your bedroll. As you look out of the window, you can see that there are heavy, thick, sort of dark green thunderclouds hanging in the sky. You can see sort of like in the distance, you can see a few sort of flickers of lightning. It looks like a heavy storm is on its way. And as you're looking out the window, you see the first sort of heavy spots of rain start to fall.
Oh, a blessed morning, my friends. Ooh, and I rise up way too quick, and I go, oh there. Oh, the spirits are come over me.
And indeed, as Odrin sort of staggers about saying, oh, the spirits have come over me, in the distance you hear a of thunder rumbling.
Tessa gets up and sits on the edge of the bed. I guess it's good we're gonna be underground. And she looks around. William, have you seen my boots? William? She takes the pillow and throws at him. You awake?
Am I awake already?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I will put up her boots and help her in the boots.
You know, I actually feel a little better today. I mean, the taste could be improved upon, but I think the actual remedy worked.
John, can I somehow contact you, or could you look at Facebook for a second?
Yep. Just give me a moment.
So while Sasha is talking about, oh, well, the medicine works, but it tastes like shit, Odrin is in his own corner there, like nursing a slight hangover, and he pops the cork of one of the full bottles of spirits that he has, and he looks at it very happy, and he raises it up to no one in particular and just says to the attendants in the room, just like, of all the waters, the spirits are my favorite creation of Dagon. And I take a swig to start off the morning.
William just smiles at you. Let's start this day good.
Okay, splendid. So, as you're all sitting there, like I say, you can hear the rain sort of splashing down outside. You can hear thunder rolling across the skies from the dark green clouds that hang heavily in the air.
Just a question, how big is Marco's house? It's like one room house?
It's like a sort of 2-room house. It's not very big at all.
Okay. Can we assume that we have, checked that he isn't dead in one corner?
Yeah, you've checked the house thoroughly. He's not there.
Okay, cool.
You can see William where he's in a type of meditative trance, and he's mumbling something to himself.
He looks a little suspicious at him.
He says something about let us be spared by the wrath of the sky and something like that.
Okay. As you're all sort of getting into it, you can see that Salazar's still sleeping quite heavily. He doesn't appear to have woken up yet. And as you're listening to the sound of the rain, you realise that apart from the mumbling from William and the sound of the rain and the gentle sound of Salazar snoring, everything outside sounds very quiet.
Is Johannes still there?
He just turned off cam.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay, well, so the plan is we go down, we get some shrooms, and we go back up.
Go down where?
Underneath the church.
The crypt.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Why not?
Why not? You heard him, we need those mushrooms.
Okay.
You can see that while he's sleeping, Salazar with the blanket that you sort of found him in Marco's house, he appears to have like pulled the blanket like right over his head, and he's sort of like wrapped up in this blanket as he's like asleep. You can like, just hear this soft snoring from underneath the blanket.
I smile at him. He looks so peaceful.
Yeah. So should we get some breakfast first, or do you want to go ahead?
Let's get a breakfast. Hopefully we get something tasty. I slept like a stone.
Well, it seems my little concoction had a large effect on you.
What do you mean?
Nah. And I get up to, I suppose, head towards the Siren's Whisper for a breakfast.
Okay, you get up and you're just heading towards the front door of Marku's house, ready to go out to the Siren's Whisper, when suddenly you hear a on the door.
Okay. Well, I'm just about to step out, so I open it.
Okay, you open the door and you see Captain McCormack with a squadron of the town guard stood there behind him. However, that's not the strange or worrying thing. As you look at Captain McCormack and the guards with him, you can see that they appear to be wrapped up in some sort of paper or scrolls that has words written all across it. So they almost resemble like Egyptian mummies.
Okay. I think because I'm kind of fucked up because I've been drinking all night and in the morning as well. So I'm probably like, and I sort of look at the sky and I start mumbling to myself something about like Dagon sending me visions. I'm like, yeah, I already know about this stuff.
You look at the sky, there's a crash of thunder and a flash of lightning. However, as the lightning flashes, it seems to form characters as though someone had written on the bottom of the clouds in a language that you don't understand. However, it hurts your eyes to look too much at these words.
May the Lord protect us.
I stagger back into the house. I'm sort of confused, but I think I'm dreaming, and this is not how my dreams usually go. So I just take another swig and wait for what happens next.
Okay, you take another swig. Captain McCormack and his soldiers, mummified as they are in these blasphemously written scrolls, they shamble forward into the room after you, and as you're taking a swig from your bottle, Captain McCormack sort of reaches out, grabs you around the throat and like lifts you off the floor one-handed with like no effort whatsoever.
Okay, so I'm just looking down at him like eyes big as saucers and just...
It would go to unstep him. So, let go him, if you foul creature.
Did you say you were attacking him?
Yeah. Captain McCormack was an older gentleman, right?
Indeed. Make your attack roll, William.
Sure. I would use my rapier, I think.
Okay.
1 second, I closed it for some reason. $11 or 1 damage.
Okay, you stab your rapier into the bandaged Captain McCormack. However, as instead of blood leaking out of the wound as you pull your rapier out, it almost looks like a thick black ink oozes out of him. It doesn't appear to sort of like impede the fact that he's lifting your friend up one-handed, though.
I tried to repeatedly stab him.
Okay, no problem. We're going to go back onto the initiative order. So the NPCs have done their move, so it'll be Odran.
I'm in the air, right?
Yep.
I don't rightly know what. Can I reach my cudgel? It's probably leaned up against a wall somewhere in the hut.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm gonna try and scoop that up and do a extremely wild swing on the captain.
Okay, make your attack roll.
And here goes.
Okay,
Max damage.
you strike him, and again there's this spray of ink from the wound. It doesn't appear to cause him any massive damage, though. We move on to William.
Yeah, I would try to scream at the others. We have to get to holy ground. These creatures will destroy us otherwise, and I will stab him again and try to free Audrun.
Not a problem. Make your attack roll.
So translating that, when he say holy, does he mean like the one god, or holy like Dagon, or?
Let's when you say holy, it's hard to tell.
And as you're saying that, you stab Captain McCormack, causing him to stagger back and release Audrun. However, the others are now advancing into the room and encroaching on you, shambling towards you like some sort of strange ancient mummies wrapped up in these scrolls with this blasphemous writing on that hurts your eyes to look at. Sasha.
Okay, get the Salazar. I'll cast a spell as he begins to chant.
Okay, so we go on to the NPC's turn. Okay, each of you is going to be attacked by one of these people, these bandaged people. So I'm just going to roll 3d20 and I'll apply them to you in the order you are on the initiative order. So I'm guessing a 10's not hit you, Audrun.
No.
A 5 definitely hasn't hit William. How about a 12 on you, Sasha?
Hang on. Gotta check what
The big question is if we are wearing our armor currently.
Yeah, but she has 13 without armor, so I'm guessing she didn't sleep in her armor. So.
No. Okay, you're fine. These things crowd around you and they're sort of like pouring at you with their bandaged up fingers, but as you guys are sort of scrambling to get yourselves ready, they're unable to like get any real purchase on you. As you watch, you see Captain McCormack still bandaged up in these scrolls, picks himself up from where he was knocked back. You can still see this thick ink flowing from his wounds. It's now sort of forming a puddle around his left leg. Then we move on to Audrun.
Okay, so my thing is going to be grabbing Salazar, throwing him over my shoulder if possible, and getting the fuck out.
Okay, no problems. You head over to where Salazar's wrapped up in this blanket. You pull the blanket back, ready to grab him, and as you pull the blanket back, you see that Salazar is also wrapped up in these scroll-like bandages. And with a sort of groan, a breathless groan, he lunges for you and like wraps his hands around your neck, and with an unholy strength starts squeezing your neck. I'm assuming an 11 doesn't hit you.
I think I'm probably not wearing my breastplate because we were just sleeping. So I'm wearing my buff coat, which is +1. And what was the starting AC again?
11.
12.
11 plus dexterity bonus.
Yeah, so +1 for my buff coat, so 12.
Okay, so he's squeezing your neck, but thanks to the sort of like the hem of your buff coat, it's not really causing you any damage at the minute. But you can feel, for saying like Salazar is like an old man, the strength with which he's like squeezing your throat is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to William.
William will start to speak in a very weird voice. He's mumbling something, and it sounds like multiple voices are speaking at the same time, and he starts off with, "In the name of the one God, fear away, you creatures. Stay away from my friends." And then he starts to speak like that.
Okay, splendid. You command them back in the name of the one God and start to almost speak in tongues. As you do that, all of the wrapped up figures in the room laugh as though they're all laughing simultaneously with one voice, and they turn to look at you, and they say all in one voice, "Now the 8 are 7. Your one God has no power in this land."
Okay. I guess that's my turn.
Okay, so we move on to Sasha. And Sasha, as you're getting ready to take action, these things continue saying, "All will bow to the Lord of Words."
She was about to call upon the forces beyond the pale and summon something horrible, but as she hears her brother call on the one God, she's so befuddled that she stops chanting and just looks at him in really deep found confusion and befuddlement. So that's her action.
Okay, no problem at all. We move on to the NPCs. Okay, so first one attacking Odrin. That's a 13.
Yep. I'm at 12. So.
Okay, so the next one, I'm just going to do all the attacks first. The next one attacking William. Guessing doesn't hit.
Nope.
The one attacking Sasha. Hits.
Oh, crit.
Okay, so damage on Odrin. You take 5 hit points of damage as Salazar continues to squeeze the life out of you. And Sasha, as 2 of these creatures just start attacking you, you take 11 hit points of damage.
So is that -2 or just 0? I forgot.
No, it's just 0.
Okay. Does it work?
Do you even have 11 hit points?
No, she has 9. Okay, so as she gets out of her trance and really confused because she's pretty sure she heard her brother call upon the one God, as the blades go into her body, she kind of falls on.
You do make
floor.
that noise. However, it's not blades they attack you with. They're just sort of like pummeling you with their hands. And as you make this sort of strangled, like, and you're falling towards the floor, the rest of you in the room notice that some of the scroll-like bandages around these creatures seem to detach themselves, and they slither over Sasha's body like snakes, quickly wrapping her up, at which point Sasha stands up and repeats along with all of these things in unison, "All glory to the Lord of Words."
Well, at least he's not casting the summoning spell.
Okay, Odrin.
Can I get away from Salazar at all? Or is it just...
You can try and break his grapple. It'll be like an opposed attack roll.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
Okay. Okay, so the grapple is maintained. I'm going to just cause some damage on you. So that'll be another 6 hit points of damage for yourself.
Yeah, I'm at 0 now.
Okay, so as this thing, you've just seen Sasha rise up from the ground, wrapped up in all these bandages, seemingly overcome by whatever foul force is controlling these creatures, when you feel like you completely can't breathe, your heart's hammering in your chest, your vision starts to go red and then black at the edges, and just as your vision fades away completely, you see the bandages slithering down the arm of Salazar and sort of crawling over your face as though they were living serpents. Okay. Sasha, you wake up with a scream. You're lying in bed. at Marku's house. You sort of like wake up with a scream. You're like putting your hands up to see if there's like bandages on your face, but you feel fine. You can restore your hit points to their previous total. As you sort of look, as you scream out, you wake up William, who was just sleeping soundly, and Salazar, who's sort of like blearily sitting up and rubbing his eyes. And as you look across the room, you can see that Odrin's sort of like lying there, tossing and turning as though he's having some sort of horrible nightmare. And he's like, no, no. And he seems to be trying to like bat something away from like his neck or pull something from around his neck.
Alright, he sets up and screams, no, not the one God, Will.
Okay, so William, you hear Sasha wake up and she looks at you and she's like, no, not the one God will.
I'm looking at her. Of course not.
She kicks out the blanket because that feels like the scrolls wrapping around her. She gets out. Are you okay? She feels like the wounds. Are you okay?
Of course. What happened?
Salazar's like, what is going on? I heard screaming.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm looking confused at Odrin and try to make sure that he doesn't hurt himself while strangling around.
Okay, at this point, Odrin, you wake up just as you were sort of trying to prise Salazar's hands from round your neck in this horrible dream. You likewise wake up with an exclamation. What do you shout as you wake up?
It's probably not like this. Not like this.
Okay, so Odrin sits bolt upright, his eyes open as he's sort of like shouting that, and then you realise that you appear to have been gripped by some sort of horrible dream. You likewise can restore your hit points to their previous total.
are you okay? She goes over and sits and goes down on her knees, looking, kind of take his face and opens his eyes all the way up. You okay? You in there? Hello, man. She slaps her.
I think something has followed us here from the Holy Stone Circle.
What? Should I check?
I don't know if you can check, but
Salazar's looking a bit bewildered. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not following. What is going on here?
What happened?
I received a vision from Dagon. It was the same kind of thing. Words written on bandages on people.
What kind of words?
I couldn't say. My eyes started bleeding when I tried to read them.
Do you mean the entity trapped?
I don't rightly know. It's as if whatever's there had taken over everyone.
Yeah, I saw the captain being wrapped in scrolls.
As the two of you are talking about this, it becomes pretty obvious to the two of you that you've both had the same dream.
And William looks completely confused.
And you? She looks at him, William. It becomes some sort of... almost like she's swallowing something bitter. A holy man.
A holy man.
Yeah. Like one God. Holy man.
What? It's a weird dream. One moment. You saw people wrapped in weird runes, correct? I would pull out some chalk and draw some runes on the wall, which I know from my background. Do they look familiar?
I presume you're drawing some like demonic runes. On
Yeah,
the
demonic
walls.
runes on the walls.
Okay, yeah. Although the runes that William draws don't sort of like make your eyes bleed when you look at them, they do look very similar. They're obviously from the same alphabet.
I guess. I didn't get that good a look at it.
I removed them again.
What about you, Salazar? Did you have a dream?
Salazar's like, no, I slept quite soundly. It was only when you screamed out that it woke me.
She gets up on her feet and goes over and opens the door to check that the sky isn't green.
Well, the sky is always green in the Haven lands, or it's always tinted green, and you can see that there is rain falling outside. However, it's just rainfall. It's not the sort of mighty storm that was rocking the skies when you were in your dream.
So it's just light green, not the dark green.
That's it, yeah. It's the normal sort of light, sort of blue-green that you would expect to see.
Okay, that's good. She closes the door again.
Well, maybe you should try to recollect exactly what happened, and maybe we will get some clues.
The captain was strangling Ogren, and he lifted him up like he was like a rag doll, weighing nothing. And you stabbed him, and she looks at Will with a tint of fear in her eyes. He bled ink.
Did I say something?
Yeah, you were rambling about the Lord Savior of the one God.
No, not the creatures. Did they say something?
Yeah. They were chanting something. It escapes me. It's very foggy. Do you remember, Ogren, if they chanted something? I know they chanted something, but what?
Something about the 8 being the 7 now, and the one god being weak, which is okay by me.
Did they say something about a lot of words?
Not much, but mention this word, yes.
Okay, I know what happened. At least I'm pretty sure. You won't like it. The Lord of Words is the name of the demon that is trapped in the stone circle.
Okay. And?
I'm pretty sure he has some kind of power over you now.
It's just a tiny demon, right? I mean,
Just isn't exactly the right word for it. Let's just say I wouldn't try to fight him, even if I would be normal.
how can he claim Ogren? I mean, he's already been claimed by Dagon.
Maybe something to do with the stone circle?
As you're saying this, Salazar is just like looking back and forward between like people who are talking, like a bewildered expression on his face. Obviously, has no idea what you're talking about.
But you're the only one going inside the circle, right?
Yeah, but let's just reconsider. We got there. We looked through the glass. through the spyglass, found the 8th pillar. I got in. I got out again while I was roped, and Audryn tried to walk around this thing,
Yeah.
right?
She sits down on the bed, rubbing her head. So the short version is that we're all, what, marked?
Maybe.
Cursed?
Could be the same thing the Lord is cursed with.
So that old bastard cursed us too.
He's just cursed the same thing as we are, you are. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't cursed before I came here.
Didn't you have weird dreams before you came here too?
Not apocalyptic weird dreams.
Maybe it's getting worse. Maybe he's getting stronger. Maybe it was shortly before he comes out.
Okay, so what we should do is quickly all should dedicate themselves to Dagon so he can protect us.
Yes.
Not exactly. We should find some.
I shall brew a mighty brew in honor of this event.
We should find something to seal this demon again. Preferably
After
not.
we do this thing.
I mean, it doesn't seem to affect me that much, but
Yes, he scowls at him.
you could try something if you want to risk it. We could try to put you asleep again.
What? No?
You could try to find out something. Just saying.
Find out what?
About what happens. You could ask what they want, or who they were from, or what is going to happen, or whatever.
No, this was gonna be a peaceful day with dragging rat corpses up and being cured for this disease. Now you're saying I'm cursed?
I don't make the rules. I'm just guessing here.
Well, can't you go talk to them and say, thanks for the interest, but no thanks?
The thing is, it depends on if the curse is from the guy who sealed him or from him. It seems like the guy who sealed him forced the Lord to touch the stones. And it seems like he did it for a very long time. And now he's too old. And now you touched it. Or we touched it. I touched it technically too. So maybe whoever made this thing forces people to touch it, and if it doesn't work, he...
Okay, no one forced anyone, because I was pretty sure I said, let's not touch the stones, let's look at the stones, go collect our coin.
I'm pretty sure you touched the stones.
I'm pretty sure I said, let's not touch anything, let's be quick about it, look through the lens, and be off again.
I'm pretty sure you touched the stones.
I'm pretty sure you're the one who wanted to go in and touch the stones. And I'm guessing this continues for like 10, 15 more minutes.
Yeah, as you continue having your argument, eventually Salazar says, well, I'm not really sure what precisely you're talking about, but it seems to me whatever this is, you still need to collect a sample of the spores so I can try and make a curative for you all.
I'm looking at Audryn. I'm looking at Sasha. I mean, We only have two possibilities. Either we just go on and hope nothing happens anymore, or we try to do something about it. I don't care. If you have weird dreams and try to strangle me in my sleep, I care.
So, to start with, we're going to get some mushrooms from the crypt.
Let's get some mushrooms and talk while we do that.
Right. And then I should still have enough spirits here for us to celebrate your coming to Dagon.
I don't want to go to... Why?
Well, we'll see about that. For now, the mushrooms, I think there's... there's at least something we can do right now.
She puts on her kit, her armor, all the pistol holster and all that. You know, this is exactly why more people are not adventurous. This is the kind of stuff you get out to. Really. All I wanted was to rob some people on the roads. That's it. Nice, peaceful life. She checks if the guns are loaded. Let's go then.
Okay, so you guys are heading back to the crypt below the Church of Peaceful Repose. Obviously, you know it's dark down there. Who, if any of you, are carrying a lantern? Well, who's going to light a lantern?
I'm pretty sure I only have the Gloombug lantern.
Yeah, I have the other lantern, I think. Yeah, I have a lantern.
Okay, so is Sasha lighting a lantern, or is William lighting it? Or are both of you lighting a lantern?
No, I'm not. I let Sasha do it.
Okay, yeah. You've just got a standard lantern, haven't you?
Yeah. No frills.
Do you guys still want to do something about it or not?
I mean, Sasha's pretty grumpy right now. So...
I would have a plan, but you wouldn't like it.
Okay, she turns to him. What is the plan?
Is Barton currently with us?
Yeah, he can be if you wish.
No, I don't want him.
Okay.
How much do you like Barton?
More than the elf.
Barton.
Yeah. Well, he's a nice kid, right?
He could be the solution to this problem. Potentially.
Yeah, but if you're gonna sacrifice someone, how about sacrificing someone we don't care that much about?
The thing is, if this Lord is right, he did this shit for some time. One time is not enough. Correct?
Apparently.
So we need someone who goes there for a long time. And who can do this reliably. And doesn't hurt too much if he's gone. If you got another suggestion, just pull it out.
She's briefly considering summoning another demon to do
it. Okay, so you guys are having this discussion as you make your way into the church. It's still pretty much empty, so you have no problems making your way down into the catacombs below. As they're still sort of having this back and forth argument, and Aldrin's sort of like following along with you, sort of like looking back and forth between you. Sasha lights her lantern. You see the light play out ahead of you onto the catacombs as you previously explored them.
Okay, so we just need the mushrooms, right?
Yeah, for now, so we can get them to Salazar.
Yeah, she goes up here and let the light shine into the room on the right side and then the left side to see if she can spot any growths.
Okay, roll me a d6.
Fine.
Okay, you can't see any growths in this tomb.
I will draw my crossbow.
Okay.
Yeah, she shifts the lantern to her left hand and pulls the pistol in her right as she carefully moves forward.
Okay, as you move forward, your lantern illuminates one of the dead bodies of the rats that you killed previously. You can see that the bones appear to have been gnawed slightly and stripped of flesh, although there are still small patches of these mushrooms dotted around the bones.
You think that'll do?
I pull out my large sack and just pull it completely over the remains and try to get it all in.
Okay, not a problem. As you're sort of moving up to it and you're gathering it up, you can hear in the darkness beyond the circle of light.
Okay, she moves over here and readies the pistol.
Yeah, I'm readying my crossbow again.
Okay, just on the very edge, we're going to go into initiative now. We'll keep the same one as previous. So, as they move forward, Odrin, just on the very edge of the circle of light opposite to where you're standing, you can just about make out one of these large rats. It appears to be gnawing on the body of one of the rats that you killed previously.
Mm-hmm.
You can see these unhealthy green myconid growths, these fungus all over it.
So I've been hanging back there. So I catch up and I point it out. I think there's another one there. Do you have a pistol or something? And that's my turn.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. So we move on to William.
I will aim at this thing and just point at the bow in my, which is fixed on my backpack, so Aldrin can take it if he wants.
Okay, no problem. And you're sort of doing like a full round aim, are you? Or
Exactly, yeah.
okay, no problem. So we go on to Sasha.
Okay, she will... I mean, I assume this is the critter.
Yep.
Okay, she will shoot at it.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. However,
You should try aiming too, just saying.
She's gonna aim, but she's not gonna take an aim action.
okay, that's fine. However, it does have a 25% cover because it's sort of crouched behind this body of this other rat.
Exactly, because you can ignore part cover with aim. Just
Okay,
saying.
so it currently has an AC of 15.
Okay, so it's just standard roll.
Yep.
Boom.
Okay, you hit, and with your 7 damage, you have done more than enough to kill it. So would you like to narrate how this giant fungus-like rat dies spectacularly?
Yeah. She looks slightly annoyed at Will giving her advice on how to shoot a pistol. Kind of goes like this while she's giving him a look and then pulls the trigger and then blows its brains out. Are you happy now?
Okay, it explodes. As it does so, again, there's this of these green spores as it sort of expires loudly. But you're all too far away for them to have any effect on you.
You know that this sound could attract more of them.
Yeah, well, quick, pick it up and let's get out of here.
I wait till the fungus spore cloud has settled, and I will try to pick up the freshly dead one.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. Just give me a moment.
No, 200 more spring out.
Okay, as you're sort of gathering yourself up, you can indeed hear a scrabbling noise coming from the direction of the tomb that you guys know from previously exploring it. So this one here, you know that that's the one that sort of like has the wall broken into and leads into the cavern system beyond. Okay, Odrin.
So, how far in are we going? I asked them.
Not. We will bring this back first.
Back
So
first.
Salazar can start working on the stuff.
Okay. So I'll do that then, because I'm,
Okay.
I didn't get.
I hand him the sack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you
And I
already
go
pick
to-
this up?
Yeah. I go to bag the corpse.
Okay, that's fine. So we move on to William.
Hold on action. Wait till something shows up and shoot it. Just in case.
Okie dokie. Sasha.
She will holster the spent pistol and draw a new one and go up here to provide some light to Ogren. And of course, keep an eye on down here if anything moves.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. So we go on to the NPCs. Okay, so as you're sort of shining your light down there, you do indeed see rats start to pour out of the entrance to this chamber, obviously attracted by the sound of the pistol shot.
Don't like the notion of them pouring out.
Does this trigger my attack?
Yeah, you can take your held action.
Yeah. William. 15 for 3 damage.
Okay, are you aiming at the rat here?
Yeah, the right one.
Okay, so you have hit it. You've obviously injured it quite severely. There is again the puff of spores, but it still seems to be sort of like crawling along. It's not quite dead yet. Okay, so we go on to Odran.
So I now have the corpse in the bag.
Yep.
And I presume I hear a fair amount of skittering from around the corner.
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So I turn and I move back and I motion for was it Sasha? Yeah, for Sasha to move as well. I go, there's a whole lot of them there, and I move there, and if anything comes next to me, I want to bash it with my cudgel.
Okay, that's...
That being rats, though, not like Sasha or William.
Yeah, no problems. Okay, as you're sort of positioning yourself, you can hear these chittering rats all sort of pouring out of this small chamber.
Sound effect, nice.
Then we move on to Sasha. As you can see, from out of the chamber here, you can see...
I think you skipped me.
Oh, did I? Apologies, in which case, take your go.
I would move here and throw some caltrops. Can I throw them in both places before me, in front of me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I would throw a bag of caltrops so they cover both squares before me. I will just draw a bit here.
Yeah, that's absolutely grand. Okay, so Sasha, you see William throwing his caltrops down in front of you.
Yeah. This one is out, right?
It's still moving, but it's very, very heavily injured. It looks like it's on its last legs, but it is still sort of crawling along.
Okay. She will shoot that, since that's the only one she can see clearly. 10, so she misses. Then she moves up here.
Indeed. Okay, so we move on to the NPCs. This rat here runs up onto the caltrops. As it does so, it lets out a squeal as the caltrops stick into it, and it expires noisily. You can hear more rats pouring out of the chamber behind it. Another rat runs onto the caltrops and likewise dies noisily as the caltrops dig into it. More rats continue to pour out of the chamber. You notice the ones at the front actually use the bodies of their sort of fallen kin to basically as a bridge across the caltrops.
Lovely.
However, because they're running towards you, they won't actually get their attack this round. Odrin.
Good thing I stacked up in caltrops.
Right, so since at least one of them made it next to me, does my thing trigger before my turn hits?
Yeah.
Yep, so I'll take a swing at the first one that came next to me on its turn. Here we go. No, that's a whiff. Okay, and they're swarming. And can we move over the rats, or?
Yeah. Although their tokens fill up an entire space, they actually wouldn't. So yeah, you could move past them. And obviously, there's no attacks of opportunity in this game. So.
Yeah. So I yell as I'm swinging my cudgel at the rats at my feet. I yell, "William, run!" And I'm actually going to
Could I make a suggestion out of character?
Sure.
Could you move at least one space behind you, because I would try to, when I run through them, throw another bag of caltrops. So we can delay them a bit more.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back a couple of spaces, and I'm going to call upon the favor of Dagon, and I'm going to cast Bless. And there's, what I do is I roll 1d6 plus my caster level, which is 3. So I yell, like, "William, run!" And then I step back, and I basically yell out this short prayer in like the Olden Vale dialect, and I'm going to bless myself, and that means, let's see, as soon as I get the die rolled, so 1d6 plus 3, so 5. So what that means is I have 5 points that I can add to my future rolls before I roll them, just as additional modifiers.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yep. and then that's me done.
Okay, so we move
Maybe
on to William.
Maybe you could put on some bless symbol for your character, for your token.
Let me just see if we've got one that looks applicable.
Can't believe you both are level 3.
We both are what?
Level 3.
There we go. I'll put the halo and the angel wings on you. I know it's not strictly appropriate given your faith, but
Oh yeah. Okay, so I try to run up here and throw another bag of call drops.
yeah, that's absolutely fine. You can do that. Okay, Sasha.
Yeah.
Just run!
Okay, so you'll run then. Up here. That's my move. Oh, 30 was my move, sorry. Up here.
Okay, so we go on to the NPCs. 2 of the rats run onto the caltrops. So I'll roll to see how much damage they take. Okay, so one of them has multiple caltrops stuck in it and appears extremely injured. The other one doesn't appear to be particularly injured. It's just got maybe like one sticking out of its feet. So they run over the caltrops. Okay, so we're going to have 1 attacking Odrin and 1 attacking William.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just pull up their stats. There we go. Okay, so the 1 attacking Odrin.
Currently at 17.
No, it's only an 11.
Yep.
So the rat hurls itself at you, but it's unable to find a purchase on you. So we do the 1 attacking William. That's a 15.
Nope.
Okay, so these 2 rats hurl themselves at you, chittering loudly, but they're unable to actually sink their teeth into you. You can just about make out in the darkness, sort of beyond you, sort of furry bodies moving, this sort of tide of diseased fur moving towards you. But as Sasha's withdrawing with the lantern, it's getting incredibly difficult to see any of them. Okay, so we go on to Odran.
Right. Can I take a swing and then run?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I take a swing at the closest rat that's biting my ankles, and then I'm gonna run the fuck away. 9 probably doesn't do that.
No, you have failed to hit it. You can still run, obviously.
Yeah. So.
Oh, don't forget you do have your bless if you. Although I suppose you have to say that before you do it.
Yeah, I have to. I have to say it before I roll. Yeah.
Okay. So no problem. Do your move.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I get about there.
Okay, that's grand. We move on to William.
I got 3 bags of caltrops left.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just run there and throw them all while I'm running, so I cover 6 hexes? 6 spaces?
That's fine by me.
Okay, so I will just cover everything here with caltrops.
Yeah, that is absolutely fine. So as you guys, we're effectively out of combat rounds really now. So as you guys have sort of like reached the stairs, you can hear the squealing of the rats as they're obviously running into your caltrops, which is quite unusual for animals, but these creatures seem to have been driven like half mad, perhaps by the fungal growths that are infesting them. And as you guys presumably withdraw up the stairs, you can hear the screeching and chittering of these rats as they're no doubt sort of dying on this vast field of caltrops that you have strewn.
Okay, we try to close, throw something on the trapdoor which got us in here and try to seal it as best as we can.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, not a problem. Like I say, with the church being in quite a poor state of repair, you can easily find a lot of stuff you can heap on top of the trapdoor. That's not a problem at all. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to return you to the Porthcrawl map.
I need new call drops. These things are very effective.
And I'm just going to put you guys around the church. So that's where you've just been. Salazar is waiting outside, of course, as he said he would do. Okay, you all come sort of panting up the stairs. You see Salazar sort of stood there leaning on his staff as you come out of the tomb.
Okay,
So-
those things are aggressive.
There's a lot of them there. And
Yeah.
I hold out the bag towards Salazar. There's a there's a fairly intact corpse here. It was with a bolt, you see, to the head.
He takes it off you and he, like, being careful not to, like, breathe in inside the bag. He, like, peers into it and you see his eyes widen a little bit and he says, yes, this will give me enough to start. Now I need a sample of blood from each of you who is infected.
You got one yesterday, didn't you not?
Well, no, I was going to take some, but you seem so tired. I didn't think I should take them before you slept, and then you were all waking up screaming, and
I cut my hand.
at which point, as you cut your hand, he says, "Quickly, does anyone have a cup on them or a bottle or?"
I actually, well, I have my bottle of spirits, the one that I uncorked this morning, and I have been quaffing. I take a small sip and pour the rest on the ground, and I hand it to him.
He takes and he collects some of the blood from William's cut hand, and then he turns to you, Sasha, and says, "It would be helpful if I could get a sample off you, miss, as well."
I hand
Sure.
him a knife.
Do you have anything to contain it in?
He sort of shakes the bottle that's already got the sample in it.
Do you want to mix my blood with his blood?
Well, you're both infected with the same thing. I don't see that it'll make a great deal of difference. After all, blood is blood.
Okay. So takes the knife and cuts a little bit in her hand and squeezes out a few blood drops.
Okay, he pops the cork that he gets off Odrin back into the top of the spirit bottle, and he says, "I could now. Most of my equipment, well, what little survived, I've had taken to Lord Drago's manor house. So, if you'll give me some time, I'll head there and I'll start looking into this immediately. Where can I reach you all? When and if I've got some more information for you?"
Siren's
At the elf
Whisper.
house or the Siren's Whisper, yeah.
We should get to the Lord's Manor too. We should get some backup.
Oh well, yes, you're all welcome to accompany me, yeah, of course.
Oh, we take care of the other matter too first. I looked at both of them. Would it be okay if we take a break here? Because it's pretty late already.
I was literally going to do a closing bit with you guys arriving at the manor house.
But we could do a bit longer today because we could do a bit longer. So
Okay,
just
that's cool.
do whatever you want.
Okay, no problem. So what's the plan, guys? Are you heading up to the manor house with Salazar, or?
Yeah, Audrin would be interested in helping out Salazar because he seems open to like teaching him some herbalism stuff. So I would be down with that. But do we have a thing on our to-do list now, or?
We have basically like go in there again Our quest log currently has sort out Salazar's town ruins, become a pirate on the high seas, optional, kill Bill. And I think we can add the stone circles and the church to that.
I think Kill Bill is another movie, though.
I'm not sure about that.
But now, I guess they can all go up to the Lord's house, and hopefully they can get some breakfast too.
Okay, no problem. Just give me a second. I'll move all your tokens up to the Lord's house. Obviously, you see Captain McCormack when you all get there. He's on guard as he normally is.
I updated the quest log thing.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so as you arrive at Lord Drago Harper's manor house, you can see Captain McCormack and a couple of his men on duty guarding the sort of wooden fencing that runs around the house. As you approach, Captain McCormack says, good morning, Salazar. How does this morning find you? Salazar, who's been sort of like looking at this bottle of blood and into this bag as you've been walking, he's been muttering to himself, not really said much out loud. He just sort of looks up distractedly and says, yes. Good morning to you, Captain. I need to retire to my quarters and conduct some of my studies. I presume that the last of my equipment has been bought up by now. Yes, Sage. Don't worry about it. As Lord Harper instructed, we had some of my men bring up the last of your equipment from the tavern, as you requested. It's all in your room. Please go ahead. At which point, Salazar nods and he walks past him.
William's looking at Sasha. We should try to request help with the rats.
We could just leave them.
I mean manpower. Killing them.
As you're saying this, Captain McCormack says, rats, you say?
Yeah, we found dozens, maybe hundreds of them.
But not,
Yes, the damn things are ever such a nuisance. We've no sooner rooted out one nest and stamped it out, and there's another forming somewhere else. We've barely got the manpower to keep on top of the levels as they are. And your friend there, and he wags a finger in Aldrin's direction, was telling me now we've got some really big blighters that have moved into the area.
They're the size of a big dog, a hound.
He raises his eyebrows and says, well, I've seen some big uns in my time. I blame the fishermen always leaving their scraps and the waste from their catch everywhere. It's bound to attract vermin, isn't it?
If you want to see one, look at Salazar. We gave him one.
Yeah. Salazar was just sort of walking past and says, yes, of course. And he sort of opens the bag so Captain McCormack can look into it. He looks into it and he goes, bloody hell, that's the biggest rat I've ever seen. And what's all that green stuff all over it?
Well, don't touch it.
Oh, don't worry, I wasn't going to.
Some kind of mushroom.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. I'm sure that's more in your line of business, as Salazar. At which point Salazar says, "Oh yes, quite right, Captain. I really must get on with my research." And he sort of like disappears inside.
We killed maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen of them, but there are more down there.
Do you think it's the rain causing this?
Well, I do know from a previous experience. Like I said, we've had to deal with rats previously. We do know that in some of their burrows, when there's heavy rain, it floods some of the underground chambers they use and drives them up to the surface. We always have problem with them after the rains, especially when there's been a big storm.
Yeah.
And
were they this big?
No. Well, I've seen big rats before, but I've never seen any quite this big. And that green stuff's new on me.
Where
There's a question, John. I mean, how has the sky been green? Is that normal? Yeah.
Yeah. The sky's always tinted slightly green in the Haven
Okay.
ones.
The thing is, we could try to kill them, but this would take long. Or we should try to flood the whole thing, or...
Well, I can't see it. I can see the logic in what you're saying, young master, but I can't think that Lord Harper will be terribly keen on flooding the tomb of his ancestors.
Well, if he can give us a small army or a battalion, we could maybe kill all them, but there are at least 50 of them down there still.
Well, I dare say I could organise a couple of units of guardsmen to go down there and see what we can do.
Maybe you should wait. Maybe you should wait until Zaladar knows something.
I'm not sure what you mean. Why? What is the old man looking into?
These things explode when they die, and then spores fly everywhere, like when you step on a mushroom.
Is it dangerous?
Yes.
Well, perhaps you're right then. We'll see if the old sage can come up with anything. I'll speak to Lord Harper. I don't see that he'll object to sending a couple of units of the guard down there. I'm afraid we can't really spare more. After all, we don't exactly have a military garrison up here. I mean, Porthcraw's just a small port town. Most of our guards are drawn from local people. We train them as best we can, but there's only so much you can do. Most of them have only seen brief, if any, service in the military. Not like myself, of course, you understand.
Maybe if we had a lot of gunpowder.
Well, we do have some stores of gunpowder for pistols, etc. We don't keep vast stocks of it on hand, though. With the dampness of the sea air, if we keep too much of it, inevitably most of it is ruined by the time we get round to using it. No matter how well we try and seal it.
We could try smoke. Maybe this will drive them out.
That's what I'm saying. Gunpowder.
You could try oil or wood. Just throw enough up and down there, and when the smoke comes, they run away.
Well, it's got to be worth a try, says Captain McCormack.
Yeah, I mean, since it's a stone tomb crypt, it's not gonna set fire to the stone. So yeah, we could try to smoke them up, and maybe we could, if we had some people out on the surface.
Can we remember if there's something made out of wood in there?
You don't remember seeing anything made out of wood. I mean, the only things that may be sort of perishable is the stuff that's inside the stone tombs, which, well, when they've got the lid on, they're surrounded by stones, so they probably wouldn't take much damage, if any.
No, we could take some bags and fill it with hay. We just need to create a lot of smoke, not fire.
I think that's a good idea, Miss. And like you say, we smoke them out. I have my guards standing at the entrance inside the church. When they come out, we wipe the little buggers out.
Yeah, I think they might have another exit.
We don't know where it leads, though.
No, but if it leads outside, we should be able to detect the smoke.
That's true.
Indeed, and well, to be honest, if it drives them out of the other entrance, well, at least they're not coming up here.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so if you have your men prepare a lot of bags with hay, we could use that to smoke them out.
Yeah, but maybe we should still wait until Zaladar knows a bit more, maybe. Maybe you could prepare something to protect us from the spores or whatever. Just in case.
Well, it'll take me at least a day to rustle up the stuff we need and get all the men together. Like I said, most of them are sort of levies from the local citizens. But what I suggest is that as soon as Salazar has something, we meet on that morning, and then we put the plan into action.
Agreed.
Okay,
Sounds
agree.
good.
Well, in which case, I suggest you all retire to your lodgings as soon as Salazar has any information. I'll start gathering the troops, and I'll send a runner down to the. You're staying at the tavern still?
Yeah.
I'll send a runner down to the tavern to let you know that the plan's a go, and then we'll put it into action. Hopefully Salazar will have some news for you soon, but I'll let you know as soon as I know anything.
Good. Let's
Okay.
go get some breakfast then.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you guys head back towards the Siren's Whisper to get some well-earned breakfast, that is where we are going to end the session for this evening. And I will tell you all that you have the princely sum of 130 XP to split between the three of you.
Call drops work.
Indeed.
So 43.
Yep, so 43 XP each. And thank you very much for playing, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the session.
Yes, of course.
And
Yes.
as always, I'm happy to chat for a bit afterwards, but I'm going to end the recording here.